Welcome, everyone. Grab a seat, settle in. Welcome to today's explainer lecture for Sports Society and Self-Presentation 101. I'm your host, and I am super excited about today's session because we're looking at a wildly fascinating historical arc, how human beings build their legends. We'll start in the mud, looking at the literal, physical tools that turned regular athletes into undisputed global icons. And then we're going to take a hard left turn into a pretty bizarre modern sociological case study on internet personas. So we're tracking the evolution of legend status from tangible, sweaty achievements straight into digital delusion. It's going to be a wild ride. Here's our syllabus for today. We'll kick things off with the miracle of Bernay, track the evolution of the Copa Mundial, and check out some real legends of the pitch. After that, we'll look at the modern Al-Rihala innovation, and then make our big pivot into the case study on digital personas before wrapping up with performance versus reality. All right, Section 1, the miracle of Bern. Now, to really understand how physical equipment started giving athletes a measurable advantage, we've got to look at where we started. 4 shillings. That is exactly what King Henry VIII paid his royal cordwainer back in the Tudor era for a pair of sturdy leather boots. Actually, calling them boots is generous. They were basically armor for his feet. I mean, we can probably assume Henry was a pretty no-nonsense center half, right? But the takeaway here is that early footwear was heavy, stiff, and built 100% for protection, not for performance. And honestly, that mindset didn't really change for centuries. That is, until the 1954 World Cup. This match is famously known as the Miracle of Bern, and it was an absolute game changer. West Germany, who were massive underdogs, by the way, somehow defeated this incredibly powerful Hungarian team 3-2. But here's the secret. It wasn't just superior tactics. It was technology. Adi Dassler, the guy who founded Adidas, equipped player Helmut Rahn with these revolutionary Argentina boots. They were a mix of leather and synthetics, so they were way lighter. They had a narrower sole, no clunky toe cap, but the absolute most crucial detail, the studs. The pitch that day was a total mud pit, but Dassler had engineered these removable screw-in studs that you could swap out based on the conditions. So while the Hungarians were literally slipping all over the place, the Germans found their grip. Rahn boots the winning goal, and boom, physical engineering directly facilitates legendary performance. Moving on to Section 2, the evolution of the Copa Mundial. For about 25 years after that 54 match, boot design kind of just hit a plateau. That is, until a massive leap forward happened right before the 1982 World Cup. Class, please take notes on these specific engineering features because the Copa Mundial, which translates to World Cup, fundamentally changed how players interacted with the ball. These things were created in 1979, and get this, they are still hand-stitched by technicians at the Scheinfeld factory in Germany today. They featured a narrow sole with molded lugs, giving players completely unprecedented stability on dry grass. They swapped out standard foam for a rubber-cushioned midsole. But the absolute kicker, that fold-over foam tongue. This wasn't just some fashion statement, it was specifically engineered to get the laces completely out of the way so players could strike the ball with far greater accuracy. Every single stitch was about pure, unadulterated performance. And what's amazing is how this singular, perfect design evolved over the decades without ever losing its core identity. You got the 25th anniversary edition in 2007, the inverted white edition in 2013, the super vibrant Samba pack in 2014, all the way up to the 19-plus laceless model in 2018 worn by Paulo Dybala, which literally wrapped the foot in this monotone sock-like fit. This specific lineage of boots was trusted by absolute titans of the game. We're talking Franz Beckenbauer, Diego Maradona, Zinedine Zidane, David Beckham. They literally built their legendary careers on top of this physical foundation. Which brings us to Section 3, Legends of the Pitch. Let's look at the historical proof here. The actual tangible legends built out there on the grass using these tools. These are concrete, undeniable physical achievements etched into history. Look at 1966. Geoff Hurst scores a famous hat-trick in the World Cup final against West Germany wearing Adidas Diamond boots. And those boots didn't just win a game, they were literally dipped in bronze and put on display in the UK's National Football Museum. No joke. In 1970, Brazilian captain Carlos Alberto Torres is wearing Adidas boots as he hoists the Jules Rimet Trophy, securing Brazil's 3rd win. And in '86, England's Gary Lineker wears the Stratos 2000 to win the Golden Boot. This right here, this is what a legacy looks like when it's forged in sweat, skill, and highly optimized physical tools. All right, Section 4, the Al-Rihala innovation. Let's quickly bring this physical sports history up to the modern era with the 2022 World Cup. Because look, even the most established physical tools have to adapt to survive. For 2022, Adidas released boots sharing the name of the official match ball, Al Rihla, and they featured a stark break from tradition. Across the Copa, Predator, and X lines, those iconic three stripes shifted. Instead of running down the sides like they always did, they were moved to aggressively run from the top of the boot right down to the front. It's this incredibly cool visual representation of forward momentum, of constantly pushing the boundaries of real-world physical performance. And now, Section 5, Case Study on Digital Personas. All right, class, this is where we execute our big academic pivot. While pioneers like Adidas Work used leather, rubber, and screw-in studs to elevate human performance, today's digital citizens, well, they mostly use Wi-Fi, angst, and a keyboard to elevate their digital performance. We are officially moving from the pitch to the profile. Let's examine some translated sociological primary texts sourced rightly from modern Facebook behavior. We are looking at the frankly bizarre ways people try to manufacture legendary status online with zero of the physical achievements we just talked about. Specifically, we're going to analyze two super prevalent tropes, the attitude king and the sad boy. These are folks trying to construct a massive legacy, not with a football, but with an ego. Let's look at this brilliant piece of social commentary that kind of translates the reality of these online personas. It reads, profile name, Rockstar Herdoy, or Prince of the Unknown City, yet in reality looks like someone in a ration line whom a beggar would donate to. I want you to really truly consider this stark, honestly hilarious contrast here. On one hand, we just had Jeff Hurst bronzing his boots after a World Cup hat-trick, right? On the other hand, we have this manufactured digital arrogance, a self-proclaimed rock star or prince masking a completely unimpressive, unremarkable physical reality. The entire performance is just totally fabricated. Oh, and it gets better. Check out our next exhibit. It reads, caption writes, "Not everyone has the ability to understand me. Your own doctor can't read your handwriting, and you've come to teach philosophy to the Facebook public? I mean, come on, that perfectly captures this modern delusion. These individuals project this deep, tortured, misunderstood philosophical depth to their digital audience, while lacking even the most basic, functional competence in real life. Like, legible handwriting. They are demanding the respect of a legend without putting in a single hour of the training of an athlete." Which brings us to Section 6, Performance versus Reality. Let's bring it all together and compare these legacies. On the side of historical performance, we have Carlos Alberto, muscles straining, hoisting the 1970 World Cup trophy aloft. That moment is backed by years of grueling training and the very real physical engineering of his boots. That is true, earned legend status backed by physical action. Now contrast that with our digital persona. Rockstar Herdoy, standing in a ration line, armed with absolutely nothing but unearned confidence and a heavily edited caption. One of these guys literally changed the world, the other just applied a filter to it. As we wrap up today's explainer lecture, I want to leave you all with a final exam question to ponder when it comes to your own self-presentation. Are you out there on the muddy pitch, seeking the right tools to improve your actual performance in the real world? Or are you just sitting safely behind a screen, editing your captions to demand respect you haven't actually earned? Think about it. Thank you all for attending today's session. Class dismissed.